right, folks. Welcome to hopefully the last episode of Turn X build here. Well, look, that actually kind of straightened out a little bit overnight. Maybe it just needs some weight on it. Anyways, today we're going to be hopefully finishing up the build for the Master Grade Turn X. We've still got waist unit, backpack, arms, and stand to go. Not arms, but weapons. It's kind of arms to go before we are finished with this. So hopefully we'll be able to finish that up today within the next few hours and move on with our lives. Not that I'm not enjoying this build, though. It is a good build. There's just a lot to it. But it's got its own little action base that comes with it, where you can take everything apart and display it in attack mode, I guess. But we're not going to display it that way. We are, in fact, just going to display it normally. Put some decals on it. But before we get to displaying, we got to finish building it first. So let's get into that. All right. There's a lot of pieces to this waist. So, without any further ado, we'll just get straight into putting this together. Considering as how this thing is meant to almost entirely come apart for its attack transformation gimmick, I am interested to see what the overall stability of it is going to be like once it's all put together. I don't think it's going to be bad or anything like that. We'll just have to see. Still not exactly super happy about the sheer number of runner or gates that are actually connected directly on the surface of visible parts on this kit. But doesn't matter. We'll get through it. Most of them have cleaned up rather nicely. Like if you go over and look at the armor bits that had the nubs on them, they all shaved down really smoothly without leaving a lot of discoloration. And if you didn't know where they were to begin with, you probably never noticed them. But yeah, this is not a kit you can just throw together without some cleanup on it if you're, trying to make it look halfway decent. I mean, I guess anybody could say that about any kit, to be fair, but in this particular instance, it takes a little bit more work than I guess you would normally expect on a master grade, simply because of the way they do the gating on some of those armor parts, where it is, it's like, oh, we could undergate this, but we're not. We're going to put it on top of the armor because that's where it makes the most sense. A runner down. Or B runner, I should say. A runner's already gone. Mm-hmm. Hmm. The way this thing wants this to go on is not actually feasible, but whatever. I think the main thing that it's trying to say is that that piece needs to be at the top, which is entirely fine. That I can do. close in like that. Gotcha. All right. Good job. Good job. There we go. Just trying to get this stuff shaved down a little bit. But they put these, I mean, they're in hard to see places, but they're also hard to clean up places. There we go. Jeez. Then we need C1s, the last of the C's. Alright, so how do these go on? That's the wrong one. There we go. These go onto the front here. There we go. There's a mostly complete turn X with his big old feet. Although he's hardly standing up straight, that's a problem. There we go. Turn X. It's definitely an interesting silhouette that thing cuts. So now we have to build the weapons platform. So this should be fun. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on the weapons platform. Oof, this is very large backpack piece here. All right. Yes, this thing is quite imposing. All right. There we go. Come on. All right, how does this go on? It goes like that, seems. Go ahead and clean the nubs up in this part of this weapons platform. This is an interesting backpack build for sure. It's probably not the most intricate one I've built. I think that still goes to the Ale Strike Master Grade. I mean, because I'm not counting the perfect grade Strike Freedom. That thing's backpack is ridiculous. But among master grades, this one is pretty complex just in how all the pieces are layered on and everything. Okay, does it go like that, maybe? Let's see. There we go. Pretty sure I got that correct. This is G2, so it's a big guy. That is a hefty backpack for sure. But we're not quite done yet. Indeed. Still got a couple more pieces to slap on here. Including one more clear piece and one more big blue piece. Alright, now where does this piece go? That's not tricky to get in at all, is it?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Do you just boost the server
I did
twice?
yesterday.
What?
I did yesterday.
Huh.
I get free boosts for being a Amazon Prime member.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I figured if I can't use them to boost myself, then what's the point?
The Popo are here.
Where? In
I
your
don't
house?
know. They just drove by. I just heard sirens.
Oh. Well, it's got nothing to do with you, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely.
One would hope. You're a little too young to be a immediate lawbreaker there.
Yeah, but crack does taste good.
I mean, you can't disagree with that.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of pissed. I was like in class because I realized I don't have a school at all next week, and so I just finished my science test, so we just could do whatever. So
Right.
I was trying to reroute my order to my house instead of my dad's office, and it just would not let me for some reason. So I had to cancel the entire thing and reorder it.
Hmm. Well,
I
that's
mean,
no fun.
it's still coming Monday. It's just kind of annoying.
Understandable.
Why are my hands so fucking sweaty?
Man, that
Fuck!
is not something I need or want to know the answer to, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Alright, now I just gotta put the weapons together on this bad boy.
Oh wait, you're nearly done.
What's that?
You're nearly done. Are you gonna do anything after, or?
Nah. I'm not gonna start anything new tonight.
Oh yeah, I took what I feel is like the funniest picture I'll ever take because I was just working. I was just drilling some holes for the holder for my X-Acto knife and toothbrush because they were too small, and I had to put like the largest drill bit we have. And all I wanted to do was just take an image, and I was just thinking, I like to overcompensate.
So you took a picture of toothpaste? I'm very confused as to what you're talking about there, guy.
Drill bit.
Okay. I will take your word for it.
You should. Okay, let's see if what assignments I have to do. Ah, well. This is gonna give me fucking panic attacks. Because I have nothing to do Wednesday, and I know for a fact every 30 minutes I'm going to go on my school's website and make sure I have nothing to do. And it annoys me so.
Just write yourself a little note.
You think I can trust myself?
I mean, I would think you could, but, you know, that's just me.
Why the fuck do I not have access to it? Oh my god. So now the question is, do I email my teacher about this, or do I just kind of let it slide and just say that's an assignment I don't have to do? I'm just gonna say that's an assignment I don't have to do.
Do you actually have to do it?
It's it's reading a lab. Besides, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be emailed anyway, so I'll just read it during study hall or something tomorrow.
You were wondering if you could trust yourself. Apparently, the answer is no.
See what I mean?
If all
See
it
what I
is
mean?
just literally reading something, I feel like you could just
I have
go ahead
two.
and do it.
Yeah, I'm also reading my history teacher, who has said in the assignment. Please, this is a long reading, probably the longest reading we've done so far this semester. If you were to take detailed notes on this reading, some of you would show up with notes longer than the actual reading. I am almost betting you that one kid in my class who is the you know, like how just about like every TV trope there's always that smart kid.
Right.
Yeah, I'm betting that he's going to be the one to show up with notes longer than the reading.
I mean,
it's actually.
It seems like the kind of thing where you would want to actually take the notes.
Make sure half the time I barely take the notes because I don't like annotating. It's not because I don't like the actual like reading for it, which is like to like take notes to important events. I hate the fact that when I am reading, all I can think about is annotating. So in the end, all that I remember from the book is line and not the actual reading. I read better and faster when I'm not annotating.
It's not a matter of annotating. You have to understand that what you are doing and what you should be doing is not just writing down page numbers. You should write down the quote, write down the piece of information, and then just mark what page it came on.
Well, the annotating is more of like in my school. It's just kind of like sort out like this is an important line. Like Odysseus said something, so that's kind of important. And like maybe find a fact that like ask a question in the page. That's the type of annotating we do.
I mean, you should be writing like summarize the important information and note the page number.
I swear to God, how are you not a teacher?
I used to be.
That explains everything.
But yes, write down rephrase the important information to make sure you understand
Quotation, it. MLA format. You mean that?
No. This is not, it's not just quoting. It is restating the information in your own words to make sure you understand it. Because I can guarantee you that if you don't fully understand it, you won't be able to rewrite it down in a way that makes sense. And then once you've done that, and you fully understand it, then you note the page number that you got the information from so that you can reference the actual quotes later.
I'm just going to say this right now. I will now be taking all the information you give me extra seriously because now I know that you are in fact a teacher and do know what you're talking about. Well, actually, wait, that sounds insulting. I'm saying that I now know that you are very much educated on this subject.
I mean, I used to be a college professor. And then I gave it up because there was no money in it and decided to be a software engineer manager instead.
Huh. That's pretty cool. So wait, I forget. Don't you need a? Don't you typically like need a PhD to be a college professor, or at least to make big bucks? I remember something.
You don't necessarily need a PhD, but you do need to have masters. So
Ah, that's what
there's a
it is.
difference between. Okay, let me take that back. I was not technically a professor. I was never tenured,
Okay, that's what I was
but I
thinking
was a
of. Because I know
college
like there's
instructor.
like yeah. What did you teach?
I actually taught mathematics,
Huh.
algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and a little bit of statistics.
Let me check my math grades, and we're just never okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about math.
All right, so here's the question. These things are supposed to be able to store in the backpack, so I don't want him holding on to this weapon. So we're going to store it like so. There we go.
I don't know why, but I find it really funny that my current English teacher did teach at college for like 3 years, I think.
Hmm.
She's also like, I think she also immediately went out of college, did a bit, and then became a college professor.
Hmm.
I don't know the exact years, but I know that like I know she's hasn't been out of college for a very long time.
There are a. Well, there's a lot of people who find that, like, if they were a teaching assistant or something like that, while they were going through college, that it's pretty easy to just transition into being a, college technically professor, but not a, you know, full professor right after they get out because it's easy. And a lot of places, especially if you got loans through a school, will let you pay off your student loans as long as you continue working for the school. And now I'm going to be irritated for hours until I do something about it. Because I was playing with my cat earlier, and one of her claws caught the inside of my finger, and now it just kind of rubs a little bit there and it's irritated. It's not terrible. It's not like it hurts, it's just irritating. All right. Oh, and I'm missing the handle.
Ambassador, I'm very sorry I did not hear most of the things you said because my dad went in my room to talk to me.
That's fine. I was just talking about my cat.
I want to hear about your cat.
I mean, she scratched me, and it's irritating.
I'm very sorry.
I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. Like, have you ever had just a tiny little cut on the inside of one of your fingers, like down below the first knuckle? It's just irritating. It's just like a tiny little flap of skin there that every time I move it, it just pulls on it, and it's like, oh, come on.
Have you ever experienced 3D printing?
Yes. Is this a trick question?
No, this is me saying that I am not good. I am not the most agile person. So the amount of times my thumbs have suffered damage while I have been working on a 3D print is
Ah, okay.
innumerable.
I see.
Also, for a moment when you said scratch, I thought big scratch, and all I could think of, ah, yes, my giant German Shepherd used to jump on me every day when I got home from school.
Nah, not quite that big a scratch. Wait.
I think like that was like one of the only years where I didn't want to leave school. because I would come home and he would just pounce on me, claws like at the ready, and so he would just scratch out my arms.
Then of
He
course,
is a good he is a good dog though.
then of
We
course you
did
have to
send him
go.
to a boarding school.
Then of course you have to go back to class and try and explain to everyone why you were all scratched up, and they're like, "No, you can be honest with us. Do you need us to call the police?"
It wasn't that big of scratches. It's kind of like like when you scratch yourself with your nails, like you have really long nails and you scratch yourself and you kind of get those marks. It's like that, but they were far more red and they lasted for like an hour.
Ah, I see.
Sometimes he would actually rip my skin. Most of the times, like not.
Hmm.
It's kind of like you accidentally stabbed yourself with tweezers.
Yeah, that does suck.
That that reason is actually one of like the primary reasons I made a new tool holder.
So you wouldn't
Because
continuously stab yourself with tweezers?
if you look at the picture, I think I said yeah. If you look at like the picture, they were just two giant blocks, and all the tools were kind of huddled together.
Right.
So I'd have to do like acrobatics to reach each tool and not stab myself.
Gotcha.
So that's why this new design is so complicated. So that way, it's both a space saver, but each tool has enough room for me to grab it.
Which is always good,
Still,
since you never want to end up stabbing yourself because you're trying to get to your tools.
yeah, I'm very happy with the design, even if I overcomplicated it. But that's one of the many pluses of 3D printing.
Hmm.
Okay, let's read. I'm gonna grab some paper and write down my points, then come back to it in a Google Doc and one more and enlarge said points.
There you go.
I didn't really like my history teacher a lot. He's a complicated man.
Oh, how so?
Okay, I guess this is like my real major gripe. So I mean, you taught math, but like you know how in English, you know MLA formatting with
Yep.
English. So he has somehow made essays complicated, and that. Well, I guess this is my major gripe with the first essay he ever had us write. We were online, and he basically told us, "You're gonna write an essay. Gonna be due by the end of the day. I want most of you to finish it in this 50-minute class period. And what I want for the main paragraphs are 3 or 4 body paragraphs that are basically like statement, evidence, ending. And so it was those two. It would be 2 of those combined into one to form one of those paragraphs. And the statement was the Industrial Revolution a good thing or a bad thing?
Okay.
Okay, so how would you? So if you were supposed to put 2 points of evidence, as well as like thesis and an ending statement into a paragraph, what would you do? How would you write that? If you had to prove a point.
Into a single paragraph?
For each paragraph, say like for one paragraph, you're gonna talk about population increase. For another, you might talk about like new inventions.
I mean, the way you start off, your first paragraph should state your a high level view of your point, and then I'll outline what the rest of it is going to be, right? So you're like, I believe that the Industrial Revolution was good.
Revolution was a good thing because population increase, new complexities.
Yep.
I'm fine with the way he does introductions and conclusions. I just hate the body paragraph because what he instructed us on doing is, I mean, when I think about an essay, I think about a debate, especially if it's trying to prove a point compared to another. And what I really wanted to do was I have the chance to put 2 pieces of evidence where I want to put the pluses and the negatives, and then say with as much of an unbiased opinion as I can why that plus outweighs the negative, or even why it can help solve it.
Okay.
He only wanted good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to support your point, right? And
yeah,
essentially, the way you would go about doing that is if you want to have a contrasting opinion on your point, instead of saying, here's a negative point, you say something along the lines of, here's my positive point, XYZ, right? And then you say, you know, some have stated that this is a negative, but here's all the evidence for why my point negates that negative. You don't have to try and explain the negative point or justify it. You just have to show where your evidence uh, refutes that that's a negative point.
Yeah, that's basically. I did a bit different. What I did was, I did the positives. I did the evidence of it, and then a kind of ending. Then I said, this is why some people might think overpopulation is bad. We're running out of space on Earth, kind of like small, like kind of like big old points that are commonly talked about. And then I said, now then, with what we have been doing with overpopulation and declining birth rates, and some of the thing, and these things have a positive, and what we can do with helping these is using the space we have to put in, like, say, to do more.
But that's not the point of the paper.
Well, I can't exactly remember it. I did something. I don't exactly remember it well. I'm kind of just trying to argue against the fact that I really hate the 2 points good evidence. Don't try to say anything that some people that might refute your opinion say.
I mean, at the end of
Okay?
the day, you're there to make your point, not try and solve everybody else's points. You just
Exactly.
have to point out how your points, are better, and just be like, and with this problem, XYZ, right? But you don't need to go point by point on the negatives and then say how yours, fixes the negatives. You just say, here's my positive points. Here's the things that I want to prove. Here's the evidence for my proof. And these points of evidence refute these, other situations that people may talk about. But you don't have to really go into depth on those other points. You just have to show how they refute them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Okay.
you end up having a paper that is far too long for
Half and
no reason.
half.
Yeah, and you don't really want that because that detracts from your point.
Yeah, I am going to say that during that entire period, I was just extremely pissed because I don't want to be expected to make a 6 paragraph essay or 5 to 6 paragraph essay in 50 minutes on like even if we had been studying the point the what we were going to do for like a ton of class periods, but like we were never instructed that we were going to make an essay, so we never really looked a lot at like each point. We just kind of looked at facts, and there wasn't a lot much to it. So I just thought there could have been a bit more put into it
Yeah,
than
I
I could
think
have because I was in quite an angry state then.
I think the problem is that, and you seem to be suffering from this as well, is that there is a sense of you put way too much thought into what makes a paragraph. Paragraphs are not as intimidating as they seem because they don't have to be as long as people seem to think they are.
Yeah,
So
like
writing a six
most
paragraph essay is like, man, that takes almost no time at all.
Yeah, it's like typical paragraph, like what I was taught in eighth grade, is like might be 4 sentences.
Right,
It's
if
just
that.
if it's his way of making a paragraph is what makes it daunting because it makes it about 6 or more sentences.
Not necessarily, but even those can be short sentences, right? Your first sentence
Yeah,
should state your point. Your second sentence should
evidence.
give a little. You have two sentences of evidence. You have one sentence of an example and one sentence of, and this negates blah because blah, and then you're done. Easy peasy.
But I mean, okay, that was the way I wanted to write it. His way of writing it is, like you said, statement, evidence, bring it all together, then another statement, evidence, bring it all together. It's basically like combining two normal paragraphs into one and then doing that three more and then doing that three more times.
Yeah, each
So
paragraph should be its own self-contained thought. That I will agree
yeah,
with.
that's why I didn't really like it because it's basically I have been practicing these typical MLA format essays, which you have said, which is just exactly And then he is coming and saying, that's wrong. I need you to write exactly like this. I need you to write this way, right here, or else it's done. I guess my main gripe is I know how to write an essay, and I mean this is kind of also related to just one of my major pet peeves, which is I don't like being told what to do when I know how to do it. And he is changing it, but he's making it more making something he knows that we've probably learned for years very different, yet somehow saying we should be able to write it just the same.
Hmm.
Because it's kind of like when you're writing an essay, you always know statement, evidence, conclusion. But then when he's doing it this way, even though it's the same way, it still feels like it's different. You feel like you constantly need to check to make sure you're doing it right.
One
That's
thing
kind of
I've
what happened to
found
me.
is that, ironically enough, if you are even a little bit decent at writing, how you write is not as important as what you write.
What you write. Jinx, owe me a Coke.
Because I went through, when I was in college, a couple of writing classes because they were required, because they always are, core competencies and all that nonsense. And actually got, well, I was going through the writing class and I only turned in like 2 out of the 8 assignments that we had to do and got an A in the class. And about halfway through the semester, one of the professors called me into his office and I'm like, oh man, he's going to be upset because I didn't turn in anything. And he's like, have you ever thought of going and switching your major from computers to writing and journalism? And I'm like, nope. Have a nice day.
That's exactly. My electives got like screwy as hell. I had signed up for stagecraft and then intro to design and technology, and instead got instrumental and intro to art and then art foundations. And it's like I was once telling my mom, I really do not want to do art. I have heard such bad things about the teacher and how she wants like people to do like practice so much stuff, like you barely practice your style. It's just a bunch of homework assignments on art. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do technology. And I was like, no, you should do art. It's like, no, just because I like doing art doesn't mean I want to do art as an elective. It's like one of those things where you'll be very happy to do it in your free time, but doing it as an assignment just makes you mad.
But that's the thing. Like, it's not about. Because the one thing that I've always heard about people who don't like taking art classes as electives is that, well, it's not the kind of art I want to do.
Yeah.
But what you have to understand, and the way you have to look at it to make it interesting, is that if you enjoy art, you don't look at it as somebody forcing you to do something you don't want to do. You look at it as someone
as freedom.
No, you look at it as someone forcing you to try new styles and new ways of doing things, so that when you actually are out there trying to do legitimate art, you understand the complexities of different styles and all of that. You can't just, as an artist, one of the worst things to be is stuck in your own style. It's so limiting and it keeps you from having all sorts of opportunities. You actually have to go out there and try new things, and that's why when you're in art school, you don't get to just take the art classes that you want. You're forced to take other classes as well so that you have a broader range of stylistic exposure.
Yeah. Also, I should probably stop interrupting you. So I'm starting to find it myself annoying. And so the thing is, I guess, so I dabble a bit in like I do a ton of tracing of Gundams because what I like to do because the way I like to teach myself because like I trace Gundam and so this way I'm able to kind of learn that like muscle reflex bit and like the design language of how like the faces, the angles of perspective, how most of it works. Because I mean, if you look at the face of a Gundam, it's pretty damn complex. And so by like constantly training, like following those lines, I'm able to like tell how to do it. So I guess like the thing is the way I like to teach myself is by doing it my own way. And I do get that it is important to be able to learn other ways. and to learn about the other art styles, so you don't get stuck in your style. But there's an art school in the museum in my city, and one of the things I was really excited about was being able to do it because they would let one of the ways what they did was it was less of learning about art and more trying to experiment with your own style, which was something I was really excited for because I wanted to practice not just like my simple cartoony style, but also practice drawing like straighter lines, more angular things. Because I'm not exactly all that good at drawing very straight. I'm not exactly good at drawing lines. I'm more suited
Right.
to round kind of stuff. Kind of like
Right.
the age. The age is very round. That's like something I would draw if I tried hard, or something similar to it.
It all comes down to everything you do in art should be to the to increase your capacity for doing more art.
Yeah, and I've done. I mean, in my first year, in the first semester at my school, we did a thing where we just going from elective to elective. I did art as my second semester elective, and that was fun. I did learn a ton of stuff, but it's kind of like I don't remember it now.
That's because you probably
I
didn't
can,
keep doing it.
there is
Anytime you
that.
anytime you stop doing something, you're going to, you know, remember. You're going to forget how to do it.
I mean, I still remember the triangle perspective thing, like draw a street.
Right.
Do you remember that? Then again, we didn't actually learn a ton of class. I think it's more like these certain art styles and mimicking them. I cannot really remember class well.
Is
Holy
that how that
shit! It
goes
was
on?
4 years ago. That's a thought. Hello, Carl.
How does this go on?
Well, I shall now remember to DM you when I am having problem with homework. I guess that's the reason you were always so telling me to like stop being on stream and do homework.
I mean, there's that too. How does this piece go on?
Wait, let me see. Oh, show me the pack. I remember this because I literally just did it like a
It's the
couple.
clip that goes on to the side, but it seems
Yeah,
like
it's okay. So do you know? So see like the front edge of the thing. It's
yeah.
going to slide onto. It's yeah. You just kind of put it on forward. So wait, let me just. You know what? I'm gonna turn on my camera and just show you. Really explain all that well. I'm gonna try to do it without showing my wee little cute little child face.
Actually, I'll just tell you what. I'm gonna look at the instructions or the pictures on the back.
Oh yeah, you have to slide it in. You have to slide it in. So it's gonna. So when you do it, it's gonna angle down the arm.
All right, hold up. Is it like that? No.
Do you want me to take a picture of it of how it should look?
No, I think I got it.
Okay.
It's just kind of a weird.
It's really weird. The backpack.
Well, the
Oh yeah, no, you have it on right. It's gonna stay on. You have to shove it on onto that square. Just trust me.
fair enough.
It feels like it won't, but it's a very tight connection.
I mean, I get that. It's weird that it doesn't actually like clip to anything.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Then there. Yay! Turn X, all its weapons, and man, that thing does not want to stand up straight with all that weight on the back.
No, it does not.
There we go. But that's cool. I'm okay with that because there's this whole stand bit.
Yeah, that keeps it up, and you can, and it has It's kind of like the new Master New Gun with all the arms for the fin funnels.
Yep. So what is this piece for here?
Which one? The arm thing?
No, this piece under the. I guess that keeps the. Oh, that's for your ab crunch. I see how that works. All right, so we'll keep that clipped in. Otherwise, this thing is gonna flop backwards.
Well, now that you are done, I am going to do my homework.
Well, I mean, you should have been doing that to begin with.
I had to have a constructive debate with you about said homework.
I mean,
it's complicated, you know.
You say so.
What other homework do I have? Okay, I have to do that reading. In class
you
mini
literally said you didn't have anything to do, though.
No, this is for Thursday.
I see.
I'm trying to get everything done because I like doing it. Fuck, I have a problem set in algebra. I am gonna have to work on that. Well, see you, Ambassador.
Have fun.
Have fun being a manager.
I mean,
don't forget
every day.
Don't forget to take your pills and wear your diaper, okay? The maids don't like it when you accidentally go number 2 in the bed because your bladder's all whacked, okay?
I don't think you understand biology, but okay.
Who said I was ace? Who said I had an A in biology?
I mean, clearly, there's assumptions made that were wrong. Go do your homework.
I refuse.
There we go. Almost done. I expected the weapons to take a little bit longer than they did, but that's fine. Alright, and then we got what now? This whole big piece here. But we're not going to pose it all coming apart. We're just going to have him on the stand so that he doesn't fall over because of that massive backpack he's sporting. But holy crap, these are thick runners on this stand. Alright. Oh, I guess it just locks in place like that? I see how that works. Alright. It's basically got the 2 positions there. Fair enough. Then that is 3J10. This is a tall action base. That clips into there, which is a pretty good point for it to clip in too. Got his pseudo RoboCop gun going on there. There we go. The fact that all those just pop off makes this a lot easier to deal with. But we're probably not going to use the beam effect on this thing. Because I think that claw is pretty imposing on its own. Nope. I don't think that goes down anymore, but that's fine. There we go. Actually, let's do... Oh. I don't know why, but that gun is giving me some pretty darn RoboCop sort of vibes. Dead or alive, turn X is done. And I know this thing came with a bunch of really cool stickers and some of those neat-o dried transfers. I don't know if I want to put them on. mean, this thing looks really cool without any other adornments. It just looks big and mean and imposing. Being all asymmetric in the legs and having this cool claw here. And again, that is a really tall stand that this thing is on. Like, I get it, it's actually supposed to be like you put the turn A under it and all that, but man, that's a big stand. Not that I'm overly complaining about it, because I mean, big stands are pretty cool too. But that one is fairly excessive. I don't want to say excessive. It's just quite large, quite large. And neither of my cameras are really picking this up too well. Yeah, let's look at the stickers though, or the decals, the decorations, and see if there's anything on these that I would actually want to put on. Yeah, I can't think of anything I would want to put on this thing to make it look any better. No, I think I'm pretty much done with this. I mean, these are cool decals and all, and I'll probably hold on to them to put on other kits or whatever, but yeah, this thing on its own, without any extra adornments or accoutrements, looks really cool. I like the semi-insectoid face it's got going on. The shoulders are pretty neat. I mean, the legs are killer. Like, they just look mean. Got that big claw for a hand up there. Like, the definitely has that kind of patchwork armor sort of feel going on with a lot of the pieces. I like the gun, even though it's a little on the plain side. I probably could have painted that, but not going to. But yeah, I don't think this thing needs any more detailing work with like decals and everything. Like, even nothing in the instructions or on the box show it with any of the decals on. And yeah, it just looks really good without them. Just looks really strong and big and imposing with its shining finger attack that it can do, because we're gonna steal that from G Gundam. Although, to be fair, stealing a lot is kind of the whole deal with most Turn X stuff, from what I've heard. And it's not stealing, it's borrowing. It's the whole correct century stuff or whatever. Which is, you know, cool for what it is, I guess. Let's make this look a little bit more dynamic. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I'm happy with that pose. And I'm happy with this build. Turn X is a pretty outstanding kit all around. Again, not going to put any of these decals on. I just feel like they'd only detract from the overall look and feel. So, not that I think they're bad decals. They're actually pretty cool, so I'm probably going to keep them around and put them on something else. But for the actual like Turn X itself, I think they're not necessary. This thing looks great without any other like sort of major like, you know, decorations on it. Like on its own, it's just that cool. There. So you can kind of see that shoulder there. And again, it is on a big stand. So there's always that. You know, that's always kind of cool. And I mean, I could always put in this if I wanted to do the whole shining finger thing. But I think that's a little much. I think just the claw is pretty menacing on its own without having to have this beam effect in it. So we'll go with just the claw for now. So there you go. One Turn X Gundam completed in a day and about 2 hours. A little less than 2 hours. Maybe about what was how much? Like 5 hours yesterday, and then another hour and a half today. So 6.5 hours. Not bad. And like I said, I didn't put in the level of detailing on this that I absolutely could have, but I think I did pretty well. Got it panel lined, got everything cleaned up, and yeah, I think we'll call it a day there. So short stream today, but thank you guys for watching.